Good morning, everyone. This is Lynn Schrader with KHI. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. This presentation today is really on the Wellmark Employer Portal. So if you have employer groups in your book of business, Wellmark is really being insistent on all of us helping our employer groups set up their online portal. So the way that they encourage us strongly to do this is they make it a measurement for KHI. So beginning April 1st, KHI will be measured on how many of your employer groups have signed up to use the employer portal. So it's really important you know how to help them get registered, and since we're going to be measured on it. And without any further ado, let me go ahead and turn it over to our account manager or agency relationship manager, Tiffany Bomer, and she's going to walk us through how to do this for our employers. Go ahead, Tiff.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for having me. And just wanted to kind of give you all just a little bit of back history, I guess, of the employer connection and why we think it's so important to get those employer groups registered and engaged with this platform. And that's really because we want to try to use this platform as a communication platform in the future. So at some point in time, we would really like to be able to go more paperless. But in order to really do that, we have to make sure that people are registering and that they're engaging in the employer connection. So today, we thought it would be a great opportunity to kind of walk through how the registration works and why it would be beneficial for your employer groups to get registered and engage in the platform. So what you see here on the screen is one of the handouts that's included on the webinar. And this is also available for you to download out of the marketing toolkit on Producer Connection as well. So these boxes that show kind of a lighter blue, those are editable. So if you wanted to go meet with a group, you could put in the group's name, so prepared for whatever the group's name is, their group number and billing unit. This would just give them quick access to the information that they will need when they get registered. So why would it be useful for your employer groups to register? Here are just a few bullets of why it's beneficial. So being able to view their bill, they can view their bill at any time. They can see scheduled payments. They can schedule a payment. It could be a one-time payment. It could be they want to sign up for auto payment on a monthly basis, or they want to cancel their auto payment. They have access to all of that through this platform. Also, we do have a section that does include educational materials. So maybe your employer really wants to push out information about My Wellmark, getting people registered for that and telling them that they can, get their ID card from there. They can pull it up, the ID card from that website, so they have access to it while they're on the go if they wanted to download the mobile app. So all of that kind of educational information is also available through this employer portal. Also, if your employer group wants to order ID cards for an employee that maybe has lost their ID card, this would be an option that they could do through this portal. If the member has moved, they could change some information on each member. And also, groups with 1 to 50 would have the option of terminating an employee from this platform. So if they have somebody that was terminated and they want to go ahead and terminate them from the coverage, they would have access to doing that through the platform. Also, this is where we, like I said before, we really want to start pushing out news and alerts to them. So, some examples might be wanting to get them information about 1095 reporting. That would be an alert that would be included that they could access. And then for the view claims and benefits for each employee, this is only eligible for groups that have 50 or more enrolled. So at this time, only those groups would have access to viewing claims and claims information. All groups have access to viewing the benefit information, and we'll look at that. So first, when an employer group wants to get registered, they would need to determine who is going to be their designated security coordinator. This is typically going to be either the business owner or perhaps an HR department leader. They are just going to be responsible for having access to different information and just wanting to make sure that it's the appropriate person that is accessing this through this platform. So as a Wellmark agent, unfortunately, you are not able to be their DSC, but they can assign a role to you so you would have some access. So you can help them out if they ever have questions about the employer portal. So this is how you kind of get started for getting registered. You would go to the Wellmark website, and then on the employer tab that when you click on it, it pulls up, and you would click on that button that says register. And then there are these different steps that you will walk through, and those are all included in more detail on this PDF. So we'll walk through that. So first, you're going to have to agree to the terms. So as soon as you hit register and click on wanting to register, then this will pop up so that you would agree to the terms. And then next, you will have to enter in group information. So when we, on that first page where there were editable fields where you could put in the group's name, group number, and billing unit, this is the information that they would need in order to complete this form, in addition to including their name, and they would have to create a password and user ID. Next, they would get an email from Wellmark that would confirm their registration, and they would need to follow the instructions to confirm that registration that comes in that email. Now, this PDF says to allow 2 business days. We've been working really hard to try to get that to be 24 hours or less so that it doesn't take a long time, because I know when people want to get registered, they want to have access right away. They don't want to have to wait 2 business days because then they kind of forget about it. So we have put some different processes in place so that that email will be delivered in 24 hours or less. So once they've confirmed that, they would log in with their new username and password, and they can again go through wellmark.com, and then on the top of the corner of the screen is that login button where they would log in and use that information. And then once they log in, it would be beneficial for them to go to that administrative tab that's circled on the top right-hand screen of the page. And from there, they can select the different user roles that they would want to have access to. So this shows you what that looks like after you've clicked onto there. And then you can also add additional people and then you can select what user roles that you want each of if you have different employees that are maybe backup people that you'd want to give access to, this is where you would be able to select the type of roles that they would have access to different information. And this shows you that screen where you would add a user. And this would also be where they would be able to add their agent as having user access. So that is basically how the registration process works. And now I'm going to navigate to a demonstration of what the employer portal looks like. So this is once you've logged in, this is how the home screen that you will see. So here you're able to, if you want to enter in a employee's name to search to see what their benefits are, you would be able to do that. Or you can click over here and see a full listing if you don't remember who all is enrolled on your group's plan. This would give you that access to viewing that entire list. So it would take you then to this screen. And this shows you, this would give you their ID number. This would tell you if they're active or not, if they have medical, if they have dental, vision, it would list that over on the right-hand side of the screen. So this would just give you more information about who all is enrolled in your plan and what plan they've selected. Then we'll go back to the home screen. And then from this screen, you have quick links down here. So here you can order ID cards. And this will take you over to the ID card screen where you would enter in the employee's name and information and then have new ID cards ordered. typically this doesn't take as long. I'm not sure why. Of course, it seems like whenever you're trying to show somebody how a demonstration of the portal works, it kind of is delayed. But I was testing it earlier today and it was going really fast, so I'm not sure why it's kind of slow.
Tiffany, while that's loading, just confirm that the ID cards do get sent to the employee's home.
Yes, they go to the
address
employee's
is
home.
on file. Okay.
Yep, exactly right. Okay, so here's what that screen looks like that you would put in the member's name and their date of birth, and then you would just push submit, and that would send a new order of ID cards to that person's location, home address that we have on file. Okay. And then, of course, you have the link to find a doctor, so that will take you to our search tool that you would be able to look up any providers if you have an employee that would come into the employer asking about a provider that's in their network. And then this takes you to the marketing toolkit. That's where you can find those educational materials that can be passed on to your employees. Like I said, if you were wanting to really stress them enrolling into or registering for the MyWellmark. And then member history report. This is something that the 1 to 50 size group would not have access to, because this would, if you were 50 or more, this would give you claims information, where the 1 to 50 size groups does not have access to that information. This would allow you to send a secure email if you wanted to send a secure email to Wellmark. Let's say that you have a claims question or something, you could do that. This also is a general email question that goes to our customer service. So if the employer would have a question that they wanted to just quickly ask, it could be about billing, it could be about claims, whatever it is, they would be able to email it from here. So you click on that, and then here's where you'd click on the ask a question, and then it would take you to that. This shows that it's unavailable, and that's just because this is a demo site, so it doesn't actually connect with it. And then on this employer connection overview, this brings up a video. So if your employer would like to just kind of watch a video that walks them through all of the information on the platform, they would be able to access that through this too. That's kind of a nice feature when they're getting started and not very familiar. Here's going to be your news alerts that I talked about. So like the proof of coverage for the 1095 mailing soon, you could click on that to see when that's going to be mailed out. So this is where you would find, this is going to show you like the most recent articles, and then if you click view all, it would show you more articles that are available out there. And then this tool gives you access to more information through the Care Finder. This is where you are able to access how much a service is going to cost you. So the next tab on here is the e-billing, and it will say you are leaving wellmark.com, and you would click continue. For this demonstration, we don't have it connected actually to e-billing because we can't connect it where we would enter in dummy information, sorry. So I have a second handout that was included on the webinar that is the e-billing service user guide. And I've skipped down to page 8 of this guide because this is where we're going to talk through, and you'll see screenshots of the actual billing. This is what it would look like if we clicked, when we were over here, if we clicked on this e-billing link and you said okay for leaving the Wellmark site, it would take you to this screen where it would have your account summary. And this just kind of gives you a high level overview of your account. So it'll say what group it is, the group number. It will give your your most recent statement and when it was due, or if it is due in the future, you know, the next statement due. And then this will list 6 of your latest billing statements that you would have access to, where you click view statement, and then you could pull up that statement to view it. And then you'd also be able to click in to see scheduled payments, process payments, automated payment enrollment. So if you wanted to enroll in that, or if you wanted to cancel that auto enrollment, you would click on that. Otherwise, sorry, this is kind of going slow. Here we go. So then if you click on the Payments tab, then you have access to more information. So you would be able to, you'd see the scheduled payments that you saw in the previous screen, and then you'd be able to see what payments were in process, or if they've already been processed, what their status is. That again shows you the if you have the auto payment. And then clicking on this Manage Funding that's also under the Payments tab, this is where you would be able to delete a bank account or add a new bank account. So this is where you would make those changes. And then Managing Your Auto Pay is where you would make those changes. So if you wanted to, you no longer wanted to do auto pay, this is where you would be able to cancel that. And then the last tab of the e-billing is going to have your statement history. So on the account summary, you have access to the 6 latest statements, but from this page, you would have access to the last 12 months of billing statements. So it just gives you more information. So that's basically the whole billing section of the employer portal. And then again, reports, this is where if you were a 51 plus enrolled group, that you would have access to more reporting. It is somewhat confusing for the 1 to 50 groups because it doesn't really say that you don't have access to this. It gives like kind of an error message. So we are working on making some changes to that, but if you do get questions about that, it's because they are a 1 to 50 group and they just don't have access to the reporting that other groups, larger groups, have access to. And then here is your Resources tab. This will connect them to the Marketing Toolkit that was available on the quick links on the home page. If they wanted to do some custom communication, we do have an in-house communications agency. Typically, it's the larger groups that really take advantage of that. And then healthcare reform. If we had any updates to share, then we would push them through this this tab. And then the last tab that we have is the Administrative tab. And this again is where you're going to assign roles. So if you are logged in as the DSC, then you can change your select different roles by clicking on here and selecting from this drop down what roles you want. So maybe it's being able to ask a question. Maybe you want to have that ability, but you don't want somebody that does billing to have that ability, or just some different things that you can pick and choose what you want them to be able to view.
Tiffany, what are some of the most common roles that you see assigned under that?
I would say that, you know, for the DSC, usually they kind of select all of the roles, just because if they decide they don't want to have access to, they can always change it later. And then for, let's say you have somebody that strictly deals with billing, then just giving them a billing role.
Mm-hmm. Can you pull that window back down again?
Sure.
And just kind of then which one, because
Yep.
there's a lot. See
so
all that?
There are, and not all of them are going to apply to a 1 to 50 size group. So like claims detail, and those would only be available for those that are in the 50 plus groups. So some of these things they wouldn't have access to.
So like right there, what's the difference between designated security coordinator group and just designated security coordinator?
I honestly don't know.
But maybe the ones that'll pop up for them for their size of group. Is that what you're saying? They won't see all of these things if it doesn't apply to them?
You know, that's a great question that I don't know the answer to. Let me ask and get that information to you, because I'm not sure. They may show all of these options, And even if they were to select them all, it wouldn't, they still wouldn't have access to it if they weren't an eligible size group.
So let's look at an easy one where it says member maintenance group. That might be one if there's, yeah, go ahead.
Yep, so that would be one where you would be able to have somebody that maybe it's an HR person that you would be able to give them access to terminating a member of the group, where maybe you wouldn't want somebody else to have access to that.
So we could see like an owner of the company or somebody that, like a CFO or somebody that's in charge of the health insurance, that's their responsibility, which would generally be our contacts, right? The agent would have that contact. They would probably be that designated security coordinator, but if there was somebody in accounting that helped to do certain things, I'm just trying to help them understand how they would set up different roles for their employer group. So one of them could be just they're responsible, like what you just said, adding and removing people from the group, where somebody else might do something with the billing. That would be an accounting person, right? Versus an HR person, for example. Okay, I'm just trying to talk through. I wasn't going to mention this, but I am going to mention this because we are going to review this in spring training as well. But I really would encourage you guys, pick one group right now that you're going to go sit with and help them get set up. And you guys are together going to click through it and learn some things from it, because just like Tiffany's saying, we're going through this demonstration the best we can, but some of this you just have to be on site, and then we'll get some more of these questions answered for you, like what do all these different things mean? I don't know if the definitions of these are in that attachment that that we have for you guys. You know what I mean?
No,
but that would be helpful.
But yeah, maybe okay. I could see about getting something like that. So that, yes, at least at spring training, we could pass something out that would determine what the difference is between all of those different roles.
That would be good, because we need to recommend it. Yeah.
Yeah. What size is, if it is going to show all of them, then showing them what's eligible for a 1 to 50 size group, or a 50 to 100. And so on.
Well, and I have to tell you guys, so KHI is a Wellmark client, and we got signed up on this to try to play with it and see. So Misty in our office was, she's not the owner, but she's the one that's kind of over our accounting. And so Brenda is our designated security coordinator, and then Misty would take that accounting role. And maybe we have somebody else in our office that does the adds and removes, and we have staff, whatever. So that would be good to know. But yeah, they uncovered, well, Brenda did, uncovered the report error. Like, we're a group obviously under 50, and we were getting this error message, and it should say you are a group that doesn't have access to reports. It just say that, but right now it gives just a really obtuse email, or like error message rather. So thank you, Tiffany, that you guys know that and are going to try to get that fixed.
Yeah, yep, because it definitely leads to confusion, and we don't want that. Absolutely. And also, just really one quick of clarification, the group right now does not have access to adding anybody, but they do have access to terminating people. So we hope that later down the road that will be something that they would be able to add as well. But right now they can only terminate people off the plan.
Makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Awesome. So the two attachments, can you just review the two attachments again, what you attached, or what I attached there on the side today for them?
Yep. So there is the registration user guide. This is something that really is kind of meant for the employer to have as they walk through the registration, that their agent can provide to them. And again, they can put in those editable fields, the information that they would need. So they would need their group name, their group number, and their billing unit. And then this will walk them through that registration. And then also is the user guide for e-billing. And this is just kind of to help groups to really walk through and understand what all is available through the billing section, and kind of goes through all of that. And these, again, too, are both available. So the first attachment, this one, is available on the Producer Connection through Marketing Toolkit. And then this one is actually available on Producer Connection, but it is on the home screen of Producer Connection under Agency Resources. And there is also, under that Agency Resources, there's also video, that same video that I showed that was available for the employer portal when an employer logs in, that same video that walks them through step by step of the platform is available for agents to review as well.
Great. So the next question might be, how do I deal with a group that says I'm not doing this and I don't see the value? And just one thought, and I'll open that to you too, Tiffany, but one thought I have is you have to hit it from a billing perspective. Almost, here's what I would encourage you guys, don't even give them an option. Just let them know this is part of the process. Once you have an employer group with Wellmark, now you set up your online employer portal, and this is where you set up your automatic payment. You know, we have complained, right, in the agent community for years that we never get timely enough information when a group is delinquent on their bill, or if they haven't paid their bill, because they can only be reinstated once a year, right? And so there's issues around that, and us losing clients because we don't know the billing arrangements. You guys, this is for us too. This is the way I look at it. So you need to encourage them to sign up, go sit with them and help them. If they're not technically savvy, sit with them, get them set, help them get set up, and have them give you access. Well, obviously they will allow that. They have to say yes, and I'm not doing anything we shouldn't be doing here. We're not doing this for them. We're doing it with them. But if they will give you access, then you can do so much more for them and not have to rely on calling the billing department at Wellmark. So that's my 2 cents worth. Tiffany, what else do you have to add?
Yeah, no, I think that is a great thing. Also, I hear a lot of employers wanting to be able to order ID cards. So that's a great selling feature too, that, you know, you have an employee that comes in, they say, I need a new ID card. They can get them for them right then. Or maybe they've had an employee that said, that's a new hire and said, I haven't gotten my ID cards yet. Well, they can go ahead and just order another set, even if there is one on its way. Maybe it would just give them some comfort in knowing that another order or another set has been ordered. And sometimes people only get one ID card and they would like to have a duplicate for maybe a dependent that their spouse would want to carry around. So having that access, and then also being able to remove somebody. I know it'd be awesome if they'd be able to add and remove, but at least being able to know that they can remove that person right away when they know they're terminated would give some comfort in knowing that it's taken care of by removing them from the policy.
That's a good thoughts there. The other thing I just want to just reemphasize is that this tool is not intended to take away our ability to service these guys. In fact, I think this enhances our ability to service them as long as they give us access. Some groups don't want to mess around with ordering ID cards. And even though, Tiffany, you just said it, hey, you can just click right here and order your people. You know what? They call us today. This is part of our value, how we earn our commission. And so if they set it up and then set us up, correct me if I'm wrong, Tiffany, but we would be able to order that employee's ID cards off of this portal if they give us access.
Yep, absolutely. And then also if they have questions about billing, you can go in there and access their billing statement so you can help walk them through what's going on. I've had agents tell me that they, log in at the same time as one of their employer clients, that they go, okay, let's go to the billing, let's look at it together and walk through it, so that they are able to view the same screen at the same time, and it really helps when they're, far apart.
Yep. All right, type your questions in. I do have a couple. The first question is, when does a new group have access to the employer portal to get it set up? In other words, being able to register.
So as soon as they have their group number and billing unit, they would be able to register.
Okay, great. And that notification today, I know we get notification of that. Do you know the process of that notification today, Tiffany?
That comes through. We do send out a welcome kit that would include that information in the welcome kit. We are also working with our marketing team to provide a employer connection flyer to kind of help push them to get registered as soon as they get that kit. So hopefully more will be shared on the updates on that for spring training.
So how are we notified then as KHI and or the writing agent that their group unit, their billing unit and group number has been established?
We, from my understanding, we do not send out that information. That's kind of something that you have to check up on. I believe. I do not know that we send that group number out to KHI. I don't believe,
Okay, so
but I
it's
can
us
follow up on
reaching
that
out
too.
into Q, the system, which again, all
Right.
that's going to change this summer. So
Yep.
stay tuned, right, guys, because we're getting a new small group quoting
Yeah.
system this summer, which is we're gonna go over that in training this spring. So yeah, more to come on that. But I know of late, I've been getting notification of Wellmark receiving a group and it's been accepted or whatever, and I've just been forwarding those on to our small group team. I know Allison, I've been just sending them to Allison mostly right now, but I wonder if you guys are working on something, because the fact that it would come to me as an owner of the agency is odd. So I'm just sending those on to our group team. So maybe something's in process here, but okay. The next question is, on scheduled auto payments, is this something you have to set up from the bank account to send funds to Wellmark, or can it be set up so Wellmark withdraws the payment? I was under the impression Wellmark does not do monthly automatic drafts on groups.
Yeah, they can set up for it to auto draft from their bank account through this portal.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, good. So that's another good reason then, just to say, I'd say don't even give your groups a choice. You let them know this is the next step. We know we've got your group installed. Now we're going to set up your portal so we can set up your banking. And Wellmark will withdraw those funds if you put in the bank and the routing number and all that stuff, right?
Yep, and they can even put a cap level too, like they don't want the payment to draw over a certain amount of it before being notified. Like let's say they have a big increase in enrollment, for example, they can have a cap, and then they won't pay that full amount out until they've confirmed that they want that additional amount to come out.
Another question we have here is around spring training dates, and yes, those have been pushed out. Let me just give them to you again, kind of high level. I know they're on the last 2 months I've had the dates up on our monthly market update call, that second Friday of the month. I announce these dates, but I want to announce them again because make sure you guys have them. So on Thursday the 19th, we're in Des Moines at Prairie Meadows. That's a 1 to 4 in the afternoon. And then the following week, we go the rest of our sites. So on Wednesday, April 25th, we're in Cedar Rapids. That's at the Kirkwood from 9 to noon. On Thursday, the 26th of April, we are in Fort Dodge for 2 sessions, 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. So it's 9 to noon and 1 to 4 on Thursday, April 26th. And on Friday, April 27th, we are at Storm Lake, and that is from 9 to noon there as well. So if you have any other questions on that, certainly give a shout out to Kaylee in our office. I thought that invitations went out. If they haven't yet, they should be out very shortly, but we do have the dates out on our website you can take a look at and hold that time for us. Okay, I don't see any other questions. I just want to tell you guys that, again, we're going to start to be measured on this as an agency on April 1st. So if you can start to get engaged now, that would be terrific. We'll talk about it again at spring training in April, but we're going to start to be measured starting April 1st already. So I really please encourage you to grab one of those groups or do your own employer group if you've got a Wellmark case. Get it signed up and get comfortable with it so that you can help your employer groups at least use it for the billing purpose. ID cards, like Tiffany said, just trying to, hey, did they get that person removed or not? You can look at billing statements. They're all detailed billing statements you can all pull online now to see who they're billing you for what people, which is super helpful when you're trying to, did they get added yet or did they get removed yet kind of thing. So any closing comments, Tiffany?
No, just that if you have any questions, let us know and we will help as best as we can.
Terrific. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for your time today. And Tiffany, thank you for the presentation. And everybody have a great week. We'll be in touch and talk to y'all soon. Take care. Bye.